Hey, good morning. We got some rain and clouds, and it's not really a great day. Now, I'm standing here in front of this Harley rake, and the reason I'm doing that is I want you to know that if you do rent something in advance from us and you get bad weather, well, we'll reschedule it for you. The person that's rented this Harley rake, well, we've rescheduled 2 weekends now because it keeps raining on the days they want to use it. And the reality is, the Harley rake is a surface treatment, so you're really just, surfacing the yard, giving it that nice pristine finish for sod or seed, whatever you're going to do. But you really can't do it when the ground is wet. Now, some things, like for example, if you're putting in a fence and you're digging holes, well, that's fine. If you're digging ditches, that's fine. This water's not going down in the ground very far. If you're going up on a boom lift, well, maybe it's fine, maybe it's not. Depends what you're doing. Sometimes the rain doesn't matter, sometimes it does. If you're just grinding stumps down, doesn't matter. Doing some trenching, probably doesn't matter, but it depends on the rain. I mean, it can get so wet that the trencher's not going to do a good job, or it's going to make it harder, that's all. It might just make it so hard that you don't want to do it until it dries up a little bit. So, the bottom line is we have all this equipment, and we like when you rent in advance. I mean, most people are renting last second, and we're here to accommodate that. But would I rather everyone rented a week in advance? Well, sure, it makes everyone's life easier. So when you're making our life easier by renting in advance, and then you get a bad day like this, well, I'm not going to torture you and make you lose your money or work in conditions that just aren't going to work. I mean, you can Harley rake to get the yard looking perfect, but if it's wet, it just isn't going to work right. So I'm not going to force you to use that rental because you went ahead and made our lives easier by renting in advance, making it easier for us to schedule. And then, well, the rain came. I mean, let's face reality. If you would have waited to the last minute and looked at the weather, you wouldn't have rented in the rain. So why should I hold you to that same standard? It's just not reasonable. So what I want to get across to you is rent in advance, because if you want the equipment on the day you want it, rent in advance to make sure it's yours, okay? But also know that if you rent in advance, we're not going to make you lose your money because it rained out. We'll let you reschedule it. I'm fine with that. I mean, why not? It just makes perfect sense. It makes everyone's life easier. And it's just not fair in my mind for you to lose, a substantial amount of money. And when I mean substantial, I mean anything over $10 to me is an unreasonable amount of money to lose because of the rain. So I'm never going to hold you to a rental and say, tough, that's the way it goes, rained out, not my fault. We're always going to work with you, get you the reschedule, and make sure that you get value out of your rental. All right? So again, rent in advance, secure the equipment you want for the day you want it, make sure it's there for you. This is a very last-minute business. I get it. We accommodate it. We're happy to do night deliveries, weekend deliveries, whatever it might be. But I can't deliver what isn't here. So if someone already has the equipment and it's not here, that's just the way it is. So rent in advance, but know that when you rent in advance, we're going to protect you in the case of weather, in the case of just something else coming up. Just give us a little advance notice so we can reschedule you and we don't deny somebody else their rental. All right? So again, Gary with Rentin' King, rent in advance, rent early, rent often, and know you have no risk when you rent early. All right? Have a great day. Bye.